to dark, moonless nights. In the waters of the Pacific Ocean around the Hawaiian Islands, 6 Japanese carriers are poised 250 miles north of the island. 0620 Hawaii time, the first of the 350 airplanes of the Japanese Strike Force climb into the pre-dawn darkness and begin their journey to their unsuspecting targets. They use the Honolulu radio station, playing popular songs to guide them to their fateful destinations. As the raiders approach, the operators at a Tora radar station spot the strike force and report to their superiors. But the officer in charge mistakes the strike force for a flight of B-17s, and no report is given. At 0753, Lieutenant Musao Fujita keys his radio and issues those now famous 7, 1941, and you are there! Bombs explode, the first sirens and alarms sound. Right now, right here. Listen to the sounds of battle. Hear the sirens, just as they did that fateful day. Feel the explosions hammer your chest, just as they did that fateful day. Smell the smoke as it burns your nostrils, just as they did that fateful Sunday morning. Look, listen, and remember, for we must never forget. The Japanese planes attack relentlessly. Many servicemen believe the attack is some kind of crazy air raid drill. They think the airplanes are American. In fact, one soldier remarks, "This is the best day drill the Air Force has ever put on." But when the rising suns become visible on the wings of the airplanes, everyone knows this is no drill. General Short, the commander of Army Forces, has notified the attack while playing golf. His response is, "That is ridiculous." General Short wishes he could have been right, but he has never been wrong. The highly coordinated attack goes off like clockwork. At 0755, bombers attack Wheeler and Vectren Air Force base. Minutes later, steel planes, just like the ones you are seeing in front of you now, begin their attack on Battleship Row. Sleepy-eyed soldiers stumble outside to see Japanese airplanes everywhere, circling the skies, waiting to attack. The ships lined up side by side along Battleship Row. In the middle of Pearl Harbor, sitting like ducks, they make great targets. In fact, the Japanese have designed new torpedoes capable of striking the ships in the shallow harbor, a technological advancement the Americans are sadly unaware of. The practice ship Utah was the first to be hit. It lists and sinks. The light cruiser Raleigh hits 2 torpedoes. The battleship Oklahoma and West Virginia are next. The Oklahoma lists, then capsizes, rolling on to the battleship USS Maryland. When the Oklahoma sinks, her belly thrusting out of the burning waters of Pearl Harbor, hundreds of men are trapped. Only 32 of these men will be rescued. Found in California 36 hours after the attack. The battleship California takes 2 torpedoes and sinks. And at that same time, the USS Arizona, which has already taken a torpedo, has a bomb strike next to its number 2 turret. The 1,700-pound projectile penetrates deep into the belly, first through 1 deck, then through 2 decks. It lodges next to the number 2 magazine. And seconds later, the Arizona erupts like a volcano rising out of the harbor. Flames over 1,200 feet in the air. Almost 1,200 men perish at that moment. Sent to a watery grave, these brave men still rest in the hold of that great ship that the Arizona Lord. A testament to their courage, their sacrifice, their honor. At 0835, the first wave ends. The damage is horrendous. In Washington, at 0850 Hawaii time, early afternoon in the States, an hour after the attack began, Secretary of State Cordell Hull, well aware of what is happening in Hawaii, erupts when given a letter from the Japanese breaking off peace talks. I have never seen a document that was more crowded with infamous falsehoods and distortions on a scale so huge that I never imagined until today that any government on this planet was capable of uttering them. The second wave of the Japanese attack swarms over Hawaii at 0855. 132 additional aircraft spread out to hit ships, airfields, and barracks throughout Oahu. But for the second wave, the element of surprise is gone, and the Americans fight back, making the Japanese guns and ammunition. Dive bombers attack the Raleigh, which has already been hit by torpedoes. One bomb misses the ship's aviation tanks by mere feet. The battleship Tennessee takes 2 bombs and sinks. The flames on the Vectren Dayton. The attack is devastating, but the day has numerous stories of heroism. The Nevada, on the south end of Fort Island, opens fire at 0802, and although her captain and senior officers are not on board, Lieutenant Commander J.F. Thomas ignores his wounds, gets the ship underway, even with a huge hole in her port bow. Also on the Nevada, 21-year-old Joseph Dawson Jr., officer of the deck, mans an aircraft battery and continues to direct fire at the enemy, even after a bullet passes through his thigh. He refuses to leave his comrades. He refuses to leave the battle. There are also stories of irony. The commander of naval forces on Hawaii, Admiral Husband Kimmel, is hit by a bullet and wishes that he might kill him. The admiral says it would have been merciful if I had been killed. Young First Class Wynn rushes to his wife and child. This is his story. We're almost in the car. My wife says the baby doesn't have any diapers. Get some. This is Armageddon, the end of the world, and my wife says changing diapers. At the end of the battle, President Franklin Roosevelt addresses a shocked nation. United States of America, by naval and air forces in the Empire of Japan. The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Island has caused severe damage. Lasted only 120 minutes, but American bases lay in ruins. Smoke still snuffed from the devastation. 8 battleships, 3 cruisers, 3 destroyers, and 4 auxiliary ships. 8 ships in all lay foundering in the oil-covered waters of Pearl Harbor. More than 350 aircraft stand broken or completely destroyed. In reality, America's Pacific Fleet has simply ceased to exist. But most horrific, 3,500 Americans lay dead or wounded in what remains of Pearl Harbor in Air Force Base. The Japanese lost 29 planes and less than 200 men. The Army and Navy spent the rest of the day attending to the wounded and putting out fires. The Arizona alone burns for 3 days. Yes, President Roosevelt issued a call to arms, and America listened. No one expected the surprise attack that fateful day. America was not ready for war, but America responded. America pulled together, and America was victorious. Young men joined the armed forces to defend the nation as women took their place in factories working long, hard hours to energize industry. Families rationed food, gasoline, and many other items, sacrificing their own needs for the good of the nation. Liberty gardens sprung up around the country so food could be sent abroad to the troops. An entire nation refused to give in, refused to quit, refused to allow democracy to be destroyed. This nation stood strong. This nation prevailed. This was not the first time the United States has been challenged, threatened, or tested, and it will not be the last. Right now, as we enjoy this wonderful day here in Dayton, our sons, daughters, husbands, wives, uncles, cousins, friends, our countrymen are defending America in far-off lands, sacrificing so you and I might enjoy the lasting tradition of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We must never forget those who have sacrificed to make America stay strong. Please remember those brave young men and women. I would ask you, when you see someone in uniform, go up to them, look them in the eye, shake their hand, and say, "We are proud of you and what you do, and thank you But this is not just a story about this nation or those who have served. It's about each and every one of you listening to me today. You can make a difference. You can be strong, just as this nation is. You can make a difference, just as this nation has. Listen to me, Dayton. We are part of the greatest nation in the world. If you believe this, put your hands together and let me hear it. Woo!
Still looks really good.
Take this moment to savor what we have and to pledge to become involved in your community, your government, your surroundings. We must not become spectators to our own destiny. I hope today we have stirred something in your heart, something in your soul. Make you feel proud of who you are and proud to be an American. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commerative Air Force, an organization of thousands worldwide committed to the preservation of aviation history, would welcome you to visit one of the finest aviation history museums ever created in Midland, Texas, celebrating more than 150 aircraft used in the period from 1939 to 1945, or on the web at commemorativerairforce.org. We would appreciate your support. Please put your head together and thank our pilots. Mark Allen, Patrick Hutchins, Doug Durr, Mike Burke, Billy Parker, out of the Pyro Field, Gordon Webb,
Dude, there
Mike
they
Schwab,
are.
ladies and gentlemen, I am Roger Gower, and we are Tora. Yeah, you did. You got it all.